as we talk about what a limit is, first off, our notation. This little notation is what you're going to see a lot of. And what it is in English is literally this phrase. The limit of f of x as x approaches c. That is what that says. Math speak into English speak. Okay? And it is, the answer to that is the number that the function values are approaching, aka a y value. So the answer to a limit is always a y value. They are always going to tell you what x to look around, and you will always give a y value as an answer. Now, I've specifically used some weird example graphs on purpose at the beginning here to show you the difference between a function value and a limit, because they have differences, and that's really where we see what the need for a limit is. So when we look at this first graph here, something we know from the past is this. If I asked you to find f of 1, what is that asking you to do? Go to 1 on the graph and find the what? Y value. What's the issue with that on that graph? There is no y value there, right? Because there's a hole in the graph. So what we say is that f of 1 is undefined. Okay? So up until this point in time, we have had no way of finding any information about that, what's happening right there, because we've just said exactly at 1 it's undefined. We don't have anything there. And so what a limit is, and what I really want you to keep in mind for a good word for limits, is the word prediction. Okay? A limit is a prediction. When there is something weird happening in the graph, it gives us a place to say, all right, so yeah, there's a hole in the graph. And specifically at 1, we don't have a function value. But if I traced the graph coming in towards 1, wouldn't we be able to say what y value that's getting real close to? Yeah, that's getting real close to what y value? 2. That's what a limit is. It's saying, although there is no y value right there, if I had to make a prediction, I could say my y value there is getting real close to 2. Okay? And that's all that a limit is. So we're just going to look at a couple different places where the limits are different, because of course there's not always a limit either. So what we see in our second example over here is a different situation. In this particular graph, there's both a hole and a break in the graph, which gives us a different kind of situation. If I asked you what f of 1 is, what part of that graph am I concerned about? Yeah, the dot. That dot right there. Okay, f of 1 is always referring to the closed dot at 1. What value does the closed dot have? -1. So I've got an f of value. But remember, a limit's a prediction that's looking at the behavior of the graph around 1. So just like the last one, so I drew these arrows kind of coming in towards 1 from either side, right? So let's talk about that on this one. 1 is right here. If I kind of traced in towards 1 coming from the left, what y value would you say that piece is getting close to? 3. If I traced in towards 1 coming from the right side, what y value would you say that's getting close to? -1. If the two pieces are coming one towards one number and one towards a different number, is it possible to make a prediction about what exactly is happening at 1? Those are different numbers, right? So how could I say, is the answer 3 or is the answer going to be 1? And it makes a big jump there. So there's no real way to make a good prediction about it. So this is a case where we have a limit that does not exist. And that is exactly what DNE tells us. Does not exist. DNE for a limit only happens when the two pieces coming in from either side are not coming towards the same number. Okay, so basically a break in the graph is what you're looking at. But it's algebraically, one piece is going to one number, one piece is going to the other. Okay, so let's try that a second time down here. Middle one, if I asked you, so if I was discussing this graph and I asked you what is f of -2, just like the one above it, you would tell me f of 2 is what? Undefined, because I have no value at f of 2. However, even though I don't have an x or a y value, directly at -2, could you, if you kind of traced your graph coming in towards that value, could you say that that is approaching one number? Yeah, you would tell me if I traced this piece of the graph and this piece of the graph at the same time, these are both getting closer and closer and closer to what y value? 2. That's your limit. Okay? All right, let's try that one more time. Now on this one, there is no dot right here. Assume there is a closed dot right there. So if I ask you f of negative 2 on this graph, you would tell me what? Negative 2. Now a limit has to take into account all the behavior. Okay, so we track the left side coming in. If I traced this piece, what y value would you say that piece is getting close to? 2. Now this piece, I wouldn't say it's getting close to anything because it's hanging out at the same number, but it's all hanging out at what number? Negative 2. Are those two coming together to the same number? No. So what do we say about the limit? Does not exist. Okay.
So does that happen for all breaks?
Yes. If it's specifically at that number, every time there's a break in the graph, the limit is not going to exist. Okay? And we're going to kind of formalize looking at the two different sides here in just a second. All right, the last two are very basic graphs. And the reason we don't start with them is because if there's not something weird in the graph, you don't really understand the need for a limit. So that's why we start with the weird ones. If I asked you on this last one, what is f of 1? 2. Now, it would not really make sense because the other ones we've talked about have had like holes in the graph, and that's why we looked for a limit, because we didn't have an f of value. But if I asked you the limit as x approaches 1, you're still saying, I'm trying to track this graph coming in towards 1. And if I trace both sides coming in towards 1, this is still coming right towards that same y value, right? So my limit is the same as my function value here, 2. And this is why we don't start with this graph, because that's like, well, why are we doing that at all? The typical reason we talk about limits is for the weird graphs like these, not the normal one, okay? So the last but not least one, at 1 here on this graph, f of 1 you would tell me is about what? 3. Now this one has no break in it. There is different behavior going on either side of it though. You could still say though, finding a limit, I'm tracing this piece. That piece is hanging out at what y value? 3. And I'm tracing this other piece as I come in towards 1. What is that getting closer and closer to? 3. Those pieces are coming together at 3. There's no break in the graph there, right? Therefore, my limit is still 3. So there are times where your f of value exists and you don't have a limit, like these two. There are times where your f of value doesn't exist and you have a limit still. There are also times when your limit is the same as your f of value. All kind of different situations going on here. And we're going to talk about that in more detail on the back. Okay? One other thing we're going to talk about here is just formalizing this notation. This looks confusing at first. It is not. You will learn that these kind of graphs and questions are going to be like gimme questions on quizzes and tests. I promise you that. So just real quick about the notation on this. This notation right here, we're approaching -3, but there's a little additional sign there. There's a little negative sign to the right of it, right? That little negative sign that we see right there means that we are finding the limit as we approach -3 from the left. So that whole tracing thing, this is just breaking that into two pieces. They're asking you to trace the side coming in from the left. And they're asking you then, if you can guess, the plus sign means what? From the right. So what I want you to see what I want you to see here on this set of questions is that each set of 4 questions is talking all about one number. Do we see that? 1 through 4 is all referring to -3. 5 through 8 is all referring to x equals -1. 9 through 12 is all referring to x equals 2. And so on. Yes, we see this? Okay. This is the same thing we were doing on the previous page. We just didn't break it into 4 questions. But it doesn't make it any harder to break it into 4 questions. Let me just show you how this works then. If I want to know about -3, first off, here's -3, yeah? So if I would like to know what is the limit as we approach -3 from the left, I'm literally going to say, here is the left side of -3, yes? When it's from the left, you are always going to trace towards the number that you're going towards. So I'm going to start on the left side, and you are literally tracing this line as we go towards -3. What y value is this getting close to? 1? All right, so that's your limit from the left. That's your answer to question 1. If it is from the right in question 2, there is a lot of graph to the right, yes? Not all of this graph is going to help me with what's happening at -3, is it? I only really care about the behavior directly to the right of -3. Even like this piece doesn't help me. I mean, I could back up here and trace this whole thing, but I'm really just going to care about this. This piece, if I trace it towards -3, is getting closer to what y value? 1. So if they're both coming towards the same y value, what did we say about the limit at 3, -3? If they're coming towards the same one, the limit is 1. If they are not coming towards the same number from either side, the limit does not exist. Okay? So if these two numbers are the same, that's your answer for this one. If those two answers are not the same, then this one is D and E. F of refers specifically to the closed dot at -3. Is there a closed dot at -3? No. Therefore, what do we say? You can put D and E, the most proper notation for the F of is undefined. We use D and E for limits. We use undefined for F ofs. All right. So what I'd like for you to do is at your tables, walk through questions up through 20. Do not worry about 21. We will come back to that in about 3 lessons. Okay? All right. So we just did limits off of a piecewise graph. And that's all well and good if they give you the graph. Yes? If we do not give you the graph and it looks like this, okay? The good news for all of us is we do not have to graph the piecewise functions. Everyone say amen, right? Okay, this is our limit from the left. We've already done this, but we'll write it again. Limit from the right. So you can do limits with piecewise functions one of 2 ways. One is they give you the graph, and you just have to read the different pieces, what is coming in from the left, coming in from the right, the limit, blah, blah, blah. The other is when you're given an equation, rather than having to graph it to get your limits, you get smart about it. And you say to yourself, if I'm being asked about 0, and I would like to find the limit as I approach 0 from the right, I am smart enough to know which piece of this graph is on the right of 0. Think about it a moment. Which piece of that graph will be to the right of 0? The top one. How do I know that? The greater than. Okay, so good news. I can just plug in my x value. If I take 0 and I plug it in to x, what do I get back out? 1. That is my limit as we approach from the right. If I would like to find the limit as we approach 0 from the left, which piece of the graph is to the left of 0? I mean, this should be the easy question. The bottom one, right? Because it's less than. Okay, so then I take 0 and I plug it into that equation and I get back out what? -1. Now, these are the same 4 questions we were doing on the previous page. Limit from the left, limit from the right. What did we say about the third question? Why does it not exist? If the left and the right don't equal each other, does not exist every time. Okay? Last but not least, F of, I also have to be smart about this. How do I know which piece is going to contain the closed dot? The equal to. Okay, the equal to is the closed dot, always. That's what we learned when we graphed piecewise function. Have I already plugged in 0 to that? Yes. I already know I get out what? -1. All right, see if you can give that a try with the second one, and then we will be done. Last piece of this then, if I would like to find the limit on example 2 as we approach 2 from the right, which piece am I going to plug it into? Why the top one? Greater than 2 means it's on the right side of 2. Plug 2 in right there, and I get back out what? 4. If I would like to do the limit as we approach 2 from the left, it is the less than piece. Therefore, I plug into right there and get out. That tells me, because those two are the same, that my answer to C is 4. Now, what about f of 2 on this one? Okay, why? It's the equal to one, okay? Anytime it's the equal to one, that's your f of value every time, okay? Your homework is on Canvas for this. You may choose to do it now. You may choose to do it before next Wednesday when it is due. That is up to you. You may choose to do test corrections or study for the test or something like that as well. You pick.